Let's finish the rest of this nonsense.
November 2016. Harry and Meghan were packed as they emerged from dinner at Soho House in London.
Many more who have suffered life-changing injuries, either by taking part in the games or simply by watching it at home.
More recently, he has become involved in the Heads Together mental health campaign with William and Kate. It's encouraged him to speak out frankly about the impact of his mother's death, as in this heartfelt promotional film.
Even Harry and I, over the years, have not talked enough about our mother.
Never enough. I always thought to myself, what's the point of bringing up the past? What's the point of bringing up something that's only going to make you sad? It ain't going to change it. It ain't going to bring her back. And when you start thinking like that, it can be really damaging. And you always said to me, you've got to sit down and think about those memories. But for me, it was like, don't want to think about it. Yeah.
Harry had wrestled his demons and found new purpose. Meghan had a career where she'd always wanted it. The stage was set for the royal and the celebrity to meet. In 2016, Meghan was quizzed on her knowledge of Britishness.
By the way, I think this is the same interview where she says, who would you kiss, Prince Harry or Prince William? And she said, I don't even know what she said, but yeah, it all doesn't matter in there, does it? Like, it doesn't matter.
In Cockney rhyming slang, what does apples and pears mean? I feel like I'm being taken down a rabbit hole here. Cockney rhyming slang, what does apples and pears mean?
She struggled, but was unfazed.
I really have no appropriate answer for that. Oh.
And they don't add that into this documentary, of course. Things are very intentional. There are very intentional narratives being played out each and every time they do something. Everything, there's been different angles for everything, and they take out and take in things, whatever is appropriate to them and is useful to them at the time. And what is not included.
Stairs. Apples and pears. I'll say that today. What is the national animal of England? Am I supposed to know that?
Since then, she's had plenty of opportunity to up her knowledge of Britain. A few weeks later, after the news of their relationship broke in November 2016, Harry and Meghan were packed as they emerged from dinner at Soho House in London. She started spending time at Kensington Palace.
Harry on the ball there?
And in May 2017, the pair were snapped kissing at that most English of events, a polo match.
Which is weird. They said she started spending time at the palace, but in that article on 31st of October 2016, Camilla was saying that she was already spending time at the palace and knew William and Kate. So you can see that this is all artificial and isn't genuine or real, that she wasn't really being introduced to the family, or she wasn't really living there or staying there or developing and forming a relationship with Harry. It seems through their own narratives that has finally caught up with them that there's just too many contradictions. So now she's spending time with more and more at the palace, but beforehand she was already spending time at the palace. She already had a fully fledged, developing, quite medium-term relationship ensuing.
A few weeks later, they were at the wedding of Kate Middleton's sister Pippa. Although Meghan sidestepped the ceremony itself.
My understanding is that she didn't go.
Was that Marcus Anderson as a groom? Please don't tell me that was. I don't want to go back.
A few weeks later, after the news of their relationship broke in November 2016, Harry and Meghan were packed as they emerged from dinner at Soho House in London. She started spending time at Kensington Palace.
Harry on the ball there?
And in May 2017, the pair were snapped kissing at that most English of
Just look at the left when you see the guys there.
events, a polo match. A few weeks later, they were at the wedding of Kate Middleton's sister Pippa. Although Meghan's
I swear to God, that's Marcus Anderson in the left.
sidestepped the ceremony
It is.
itself.
Was Marcus Anderson a groomsman at Pippa Middleton's wedding? Surely not.
My understanding is that she didn't go to the ceremony because she knew that the photographers would be looking for a photograph of her and Harry together in a quasi-official event, and that she felt that would have been unfair if the newspapers all ran photographs of them together and not the actual happy couple on the day.
Instead, Harry went personally to collect Meghan and slip her into the reception. For Meghan, such events hold no fear. This is a world she's familiar with, even before she met Prince Harry.
That makes no sense. She wasn't familiar with any of this world, and that was her whole narrative pool too, was, I didn't know anything. I didn't even know the national anthem. It's just all too much. That was her whole thing. She was what was it? A duck out of water? And she was told that, remember, by, was it Samantha Cohen or whoever she decided to try to alienate and accuse. But, you know, I can't blame her for any of this because it's not her. She's not the one allowing this and orchestrating this. This is the thing. We can be as angry at her as much as possible, but she's not the one orchestrating this. Interesting, though.
Meghan has positioned herself so that she is rubbing shoulders with the right kinds of people. And that's indeed how she ended up being introduced to Prince Harry in the first place.
That really makes no sense at all. And when you think about it, it doesn't really make sense. So she was friends with Marcus Anderson, but she was only friends with Marcus Anderson since, 2012, 2011, right on cue, like right around the same time as Suits, right around the same time as all of this happening.
She's quite secure in that pretty upper middle class environment. She's at home there.
But you've just saw this whole narrative of her being working class and her paying her dues and her having to go through having a pickup truck to auditions and her being, the lowest of the lows, and the suburbs that she was brought up in being really tough and not diverse, and having to deal with racism, forgetting all the middle class elitist kind of stuff narrative that you pull as well with the education and the income of Thomas Markle and all of that. It's very, very selective, and they choose whatever is important to the narrative at the time, but none of it makes sense.
Meghan has had to cope with the stress of a high-profile wedding before, albeit a fictional one.
That's really, really funny, because they're saying that the only time she's ever had to liken her real life regarding a wedding was a fictional one on Suits, meaning she was never actually married to Trevor. I've already proven that they didn't marry in 2011 in videos, but they're actually saying that the only time she ever likened herself in a wedding dress was on Suits. Nowhere else, nothing else, not in real life.
At the finale of season 5 of Suits, her character Rachel Zane was set to marry, but in this emotional climax was jilted at the altar. In real life, Meghan is more than prepared for what the future holds. The big question is whether the royal family is ready for her.
She's such a bad actress. Even non-verbal, she's terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Divorcees, especially American ones, haven't gone down well with the Windsors in the past.
Here we go.
Edward VIII's relationship with
They always pull this fucking card, Wallace and Edward card, and then they pull, because she's American and she's a divorcee. That's why Nut has the identity she has. It's almost like, predictive programming. It's a retelling of a story that isn't hers and has nothing to do with her. And yet they just keep pulling these narratives and these fucking cards out. The race, Wallace 2.0. Jesus.
with Wallace Simpson led to the abdication crisis of 1936.
No, it didn't. He was a pro-Nazi sympathizer, and he committed treason against his country and against his people as king and as heir to the throne. So, no, that was a cover, just like Nut is a cover.
But times have changed.
I don't think...
Don't you find it miraculous that, and I just realised this, has anyone ever wondered why Edward would all of a sudden meet an American and fallen in love with an American right at the time of World War II, when America would just coincidentally be involved and then win the war and save the UK, or ally with the UK and save the world? I never actually realised the timing of that. If we're talking about the timing of Nut and globalism and the Order 2025 and how it's all playing out and her role in it and her reason for existing. Wallace, her whole introduction is really, really timely, and not just her introduction, but her identity and her identity card, or identity politics, like right on cue for World War II. Oh, that rhymes. But, don't you find that odd? We just put it down to this natural relationship development and this love thing. But it's really quite odd.
The fact that she's divorcee stands in their way. Some might argue that actually having that experience is no bad thing. This is a woman of the world, and she's been about, and she's got the experience right.
She's been about. Dear God. If this isn't an identity construct, I don't know what is.
Actually deal with what comes with being a princess.
She's been about.
What I noticed about her when all the publicity was on her and the paparazzi...
She's a cracker of a girl. And she's been about. So, yeah, get onto it.
Chasing her.
You guys, thank you so much.
She was totally relaxed.
Yeah.
I've spoken to a number of photographers that have dealt with her, and they find her charming.
Good night, guys.
This guy just talks shit out of his mouth. Respectfully, mate. Just stop.
Guys, good to see you again. Bye.
Whereas they used to find Kate tricky, or other members of the royal family difficult.
Because she's an actress. Because you've paid her to be an actress. And she's finally getting a career she doesn't deserve. And the wealth and income she doesn't deserve. Fuck me.
Maybe they could learn a few lessons from her.
Yeah, go to the D-grade acting school down the road. You'll learn a lot of things. Or, ask your mate, Jimmy Savile. He's a good advisor.
But Meghan will have to make a decision about the job that's been her passion since she was a little girl. Acting.
Oh, piss off. She did have a career. She did have a career before the palace got involved. So let's face it, she had nothing to lose. There was nothing to lose, everything to gain.
Meghan Markle has enough of an understanding of the royal family to understand that it would be very difficult to...
Hold on. So now she has an understanding of the royal family. Has enough of an understanding of the royal family. I'm just so confused by all these conflicting messages of who Nut is.
Navigate a career as a successful actress with being a princess. It would be almost...
And that isn't true, remember, because the Queen gave her the option. And I know that there's another a royal family member who's an actress. I think she's married to one of the cousins of the royal family. Oh yeah, the guy who looks like Markle of Kent's son, who looks very much almost identical to William. He's married to an actress, and she continued her work, didn't she, as an actress in the UK. So literally the same country, the same family, they gave the option of her still being an actress. But because she's contracted, that isn't going to happen, because she's going to be a humanitarian and push global policy. That was always going to be the arrangement. That is always the arrangement. That never stopped. That was the whole point of Nut. So that was the reason why they amped her up to look like a humanitarian and do humanitarian causes and work, to ensure that this strategy would be successful.
Impossible. And acting may not be Meghan's only sacrifice.
Sacrifice? This bitch didn't sacrifice anything. She sacrificed her reputation, her global reputation, for which there wasn't any anyway. I mean, no one really knew her, so yeah.
She's the global ambassador for World Vision. Actress Meghan Markle, everybody.
And look what Meghan can be outspoken on political issues, as in this frank 2016
This is her saying that she was never going to live in LA again. She was going to move to Canada. So proving that she never lived in Canada by 2016. She never lived in Canada. She was never with Cora Vitiello. It was all just a setup. But here she is saying, she does say that she would move to Canada if Trump was assigned POTUS. And this was in 2016. So now she's literally moved while Trump was POTUS. And then on top of that, he's POTUS again, and she's still living there. But now it's for a kid, her fake or non-existent kid. And also to win a legal case that's in the UK. That should be with a UK legal team, but somehow miraculously has a US legal team looking over it. The stupidest shit I've ever heard. But let's continue. Actually, not the stupidest shit I've ever heard. I've heard much stupid shit.
discussion of Donald Trump's election bid.
Donald Trump with his misogyny.
I love her fake laugh. It's just pathetic. Oh, Jesus, sorry. Sometimes I get a little too involved. Okay.
As Trump is, and so vocal about it,
right.
That's a huge chunk of it. You're not just voting for a woman if it's Hillary just because she's a woman, but certainly because Trump has made it easy to see that you don't really want that kind of world that he's painting.
So they're not going to show you the thing where she said that she would move, but I've got that already in a video, so you can just look at my videos and find that.
If the moment comes when she does have to shake Donald Trump's hand, I don't quite know how she'll react. I can imagine she wouldn't be best.
This is in 2017. 2017.
Pleased at doing that.
She seems a very strong, independent woman, has done things her way, but she would still have to be managed.
If she wants to be more independent, then that's no bad thing for the monarchy.
Hold on, did he just say that she would still have to be managed? What's he talking about? So the recruit still has to be managed despite her being independent and having her own way. That's definitely an inserted comment that had no relation to this topic. She would have to be managed. First of all, who talks about people like that other than a contractual agreement and an employee and a staff member. You can't just talk about anyone who's free, who's independent like that. So, and he's saying that now, like, almost as if, like, Meg's already happened. This is still while she's in the UK. And actually, this is probably just before. Yeah, this was before they were engaged. This documentary came out. And yet, they're saying she will have to be managed. And they talk about her like she's this. I just find that wording and that tone really, really peculiar. I wish I could go back and get that.
Moving with Wallace Simpson.
Oh, no.
Relaxed. I've spoken to a number of photographers that have dealt with her, and they find her charming.
Good night, guys. Good to see you again. Bye.
Whereas they used to find Kate tricky, or other members of the royal family difficult. Maybe they could learn a few lessons from her.
But Meghan will have to make a decision about the job that's been her passion since she was a little girl. Acting.
Oh, sorry.
Meghan Markle has enough of an understanding of the royal family to understand that it would be very difficult to navigate a career as a successful actress with being a princess.
I just love that image that they're using for her being a successful actress. Promiscuous, but she said no, remember, guys. She said no because she's a feminist. She can act like a slut, but she did say no.
Be almost impossible.
And acting may not be Meghan's only sacrifice.
She's the global ambassador for World Vision. Actress Meghan Markle, everybody.
And look what we
Meghan can be outspoken on political issues.
Oh, the laugh.
As in this frank 2016 discussion of Donald Trump's election bid.
Donald Trump.
With as misogynistic as Trump is and so vocal about it,
Right.
that's a huge chunk of it. You're not just voting for a woman if it's Hillary just because she's a woman, but certainly because Trump has made it easy to...
Actually, she is literally just saying to vote for Hillary because she's a woman. That's all she's saying. She's not even talking about any policies that Trump was promoting at the time. I'm not even pro-Trump, but that is like she's literally making shit up. She doesn't even know anything about politics, so she definitely didn't study politics because she's just talking smack. She doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about, and she's acting a role that she's been assigned to look political, to look humanitarian, to look credible, so she can push policy change. Imagine this woman who doesn't know politics now pushing policy change since 2020 in the US and paying for my policies in Australia to be changed through her shell charity organisation.
See that you don't really
Committing foreign interference, but also high treason under the royal family.
want that kind of world that he's painting.
If the moment comes when she does have to shake Donald Trump's hand, I don't quite know how she'll react. I can imagine she wouldn't be best pleased at doing that.
She seems a very...
Best please. Anyway, he's about to say she seems very independent, whatever woman, which is weird because that's not what she said she is. She's the opposite of her mother. Let's remember that. That's a big one. This is just a narrative. But then she would have to also be managed. That stayed with me more than anything during this whole documentary.
A very strong, independent woman, has done things her way, but she would still have to be managed.
If she wants...
So she's done things her way, but she's never done things her way, has she? It's been all a setup. She got an offer for UN. She did nothing. There's nothing she's ever done.
She wants to be more independent, then that's no bad thing for the monarchy. Moving forward, I don't think that...
So this is a setup for Megxit. She wants to become more independent. That's weird to discuss this at such a time before engagement of Harry and Meghan, don't you think? Like, this is really, I mean, you know, let's be honest. Remember, I've already proven in the Courtier's Megxit video that the Megxit plan was drawn up by March 2017. So this is really proving that all the British media within the royal rota knew exactly that Megxit was going to happen, and they're trying to create this identity of independence to justify and validate what will take place before the engagement. So this is a complete and utter palace orchestration, all of it.
That modern working women want princesses to be seen and not heard anymore. They want them to make a contribution to public life in a very vocal sense.
So she's talking about really not also representing the modernisation of the royal family and being independent, and them needing this identity politics of her being independent and strong-willed to show that the royal family are modernised. Even now, even as the bad cop, good cop, the royal family has modernised. They still allowed her in. They're still also the victim and the saviour, but they've allowed her in because they're modernising.
In her passion for humanitarian causes, the royal figure Meghan most resembles is the woman who would have been her mother-in-law.
Please don't. This really gets me emotional. Like, I don't know enough. If I do the research, maybe Diana is a construct as well. But she had heart. Yeah, it's hard for me to not have a loyalty to her, despite whatever this was, whatever it was, compared to anyone else within the royal family. To liken her to Nut is just an utter sheer disrespect and just, just complete and utter disrespect to her. There's no other way to say it.
Law. She understood better than anyone the power a princess wields.
If you look back at Princess Diana, yes, of course, she was a style icon and people followed what she wore, her haircut, but they also listened to what she said on issues like AIDS and HIV, landmines.
When you are a princess, you get to affect change on a global scale. You get to change minds on a global scale.
Which is funny because Nut was changing minds on a global scale before she was a princess. So this is also telling you that this is a setup. That her whole identity construct of being a humanitarian was a construct under the palace instruction, because there's no other way. He's saying when you are a princess, this is what happens. She wasn't a princess back then, so how would she have the resources to do so? How would she get these offers?
Diana was just 20 when she first entered the royal family and gained this enormous power. Meghan is 36 and in a relationship which is stable and supportive.
Two is better than one if they're a united front supporting each other in their own charitable aims and endeavours, trying to gain publicity for them and also trying to kind of carve out their own path. Then they.
So Camilla Toomani is literally telling you the justified narrative for Megxit before the engagement. That they're going to carve out their own paths, that they're going to seek their own charity causes, that they're going to be bananatarians. When really all they were meant to be doing at this point were being working royals. This was when Nut was going on her first tours with the Queen. This was when she was not even really legitimate. She was only legitimate after the engagement. she was not legitimate regarding being a part of being a working royal, having titles, being a part of the working royal family. So to already have this narrative being played out and her telling us this is crazy, but also, not surprising given that this is an entire orchestration.
And they will see themselves as an enormous force for good and people that can really make a difference on a humanitarian level.
It's just crazy, man. It's just crazy that this has all been written out for us.
Prince Harry and Meghan, the new power couple on the global humanitarian stage.
What? The new power couple on the global humanitarian stage? Are you joking? The global humanitarian stage. Yeah. Okay. Sealed the deal. No wonder why they hid this documentary and you can't get it anymore. They changed the narrative very, very quickly after this.
This is a relationship that shows just how far the House of Windsor has come. The descendant of poor farmers and coal miners.
Which are just stock standard photos.
Daughter of a cameraman and a social worker. The girl from LA, who could be our new princess. Once it would have been unthinkable. Now she could become the royal family's greatest asset. And
she could become the royal family's greatest asset. For global on the global humanitarian stage. Royal family's greatest asset, global humanitarian stage. Royal family's greatest asset. And recruit.
And on the personal level, for one once troubled man, this relationship appears to be working.
And reputation seems to mitigate to then be able to push forward and make him a global statesman or advocate, and have all credibility given back to him despite his drug abuse and everything he's ever done. Also playing bad cop against his brother so his brother can do no wrong and his father can do no wrong and can successfully gain the throne without any pushback during, the greatest of the UK's hardships within this century. Yeah, I've just lost my train of thought. It's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. The fact that they've done this entire 360 and changed his branding so much just through this asset is crazy.
I mean, I've certainly noticed on engagements when you watch him, there's a spring in his step and there's a smile on his face, and you can just tell that he's happy.
Shaking her head, she's just a puppet and she's going off a script.
Channel 4 is standing up to cancer. Friday from 9 o'clock, celebrities do Gogglebox. Politicians do Gogglebox. Jeremy Corbyn raising money to beat a terrible disease. Thursday, 9 o'clock, celebrities meet Fred and hope to impress on their first televised first dates. Music coming up next tonight, live from Abbey Road.
That's all done. Wow, no wonder why they've hidden that documentary. That is a huge and utter downfall of the proving that all of this was an orchestrated PR campaign. Even before they were engaged, proving that their relationship is an utter facade, completely orchestrated, to push a global humanitarian platform or global statesmanship and global advocacy. What you're seeing now with the heir and the spare, don't forget Megxit, the Megxit plan that was done before March 2017 with the Queen's Private Secretary, Lord Gate, and Sir David Manning. It was, what was included was the two projects of the two brothers, Travelist for the spare and Earthshot for the heir, and they were meant to, through dialectic deception, work off each other while both being American and both being launching this American globalism and becoming globalists, global statesmen. So that's been the get-go from the very start, before this was even a genuine relationship. And these lying narratives just keep falling over on top of one another. Amazing work, guys. Amazing work, Palace. It is the con of the century, is it not?